All right, Varghese, let's shift our focus real quickly. In Manipur, because ladies and gentlemen, we talk about Manipur every day. We have to, we must. It's more than just boiling, and we're way beyond saying that peace must prevail. Let's hope that good sense prevails. Some sort of action, some sort of end conclusion, some cathartic way of ending this. Is there a cathartic way of ending this? First and foremost, Varghese, what's the latest details? We're hearing there's some more killings that have taken place. There's a fresh round of violence. A woman was killed, shot, her face defaced. I mean, you name it, and those kinds of gruesome acts are taking place in Manipur. Well, it says that 57-year-old Naga woman shot dead in Imphal. 5 women among 9 held. Police have recovered one .303 rifle, 3 rounds, and one 9mm pistol.
No, the issue here is that we should understand that Manipur has got 3 major ethnic groups. That is the Meiteis, the Kukis and the Nagas. And this ethnic conflict that has been there in Manipur was primarily between the Meiteis as well as the Kukis as of now. And right now there have been efforts to actually only make sure that they are being brought to the table to negotiate. But the recent killing of the Naga woman is disturbing because it adds another dimension to a community that is not even involved in this at all. They have not been engaged in this as well. I mean, the ethnic conflict.
They are part and parcel of the tribal group.
They are part of the tribal
group. But you'd see, Nagas also
they have been there, but you don't see the kind of violence that has been there to Mizoram or spilling over to Nagaland or spilling over to the rest of the northeastern states. That has been the biggest
in the tenuous state of Manipur right now. It's a fresh round of violence, and apart from all of this, first and foremost, I mean, these visuals, these pictures, I'm going to urge the audience to, for better understanding what's really happening, go to the Hindu, copy, take a look at it once. The pictures that they put out, I'm sure the pictures are doing rounds on the internet as well. These are pictures, Varghese, of guns that have been manufactured using uprooted electric poles. Welded. These are sophisticated country weapons, if I could put it that way. And not just this, there are now, these tribal, the tribal groups are sticking to their demands. It's not just a separate administration anymore. There's a chorus that's now growing for a separate state altogether.
Yeah, that is also there, and then also there's the worrying factor where Jaishankar has spoken with Myanmar, and the Tribune has carried that story as well, where he says, just take the Tribune's paper. This is what it goes like. Ultra sneaking into Manipur, Jaishankar cautions Myanmar. EAM wants drug human trafficking issues tackled too. It says the border unrest has taken up. These are reports of heavily armed militants entering Stone, Manipur. Disturbed conditions in Myanmar have been allowing militants to sneak into India. Due to this, 1,400 kilometers of India-Myanmar-Thailand highway is 4 years behind deadline. So that is another big project that has been delayed because of the disturbances in northern Myanmar. This Jaishankar also underlined the importance of ensuring peace and stability at the border areas and said that these have seriously disturbed recently and any actions that aggravate the situation should be avoided. So clearly the foreign minister making it quite clear to his Myanmarese counterpart about the situation that is there in northern Myanmar and how it is creating trouble in Manipur as well.
But do you think this new stand, this new solidified stand of we're not going to budge from our demands of a separate administration, going to an extent that there's now saying that they want a separate state altogether, this will certainly have larger implications, but have the groups been able to, or will they now be able to finally make the center turn their heads towards, the tenuous state of Manipur the way they want it and not the way the central government actually wants it?
Well, the issue of Manipur cannot be resolved unless we see the geopolitical issues around it. We look at the ethnic issues around it. So right now the issue would be to just ensure that the ethnic issues in Manipur are addressed first. That is the first thing that we have to in fact bring through. After that, we have to also look at what's happening across. See, Manipur cannot be seen from isolation from what's happening in Myanmar. That we should understand first. What is happening in Myanmar, especially the kind of instability that is there in northern Myanmar, and with the military junta carrying on with operations there and those ultras sneaking, going to and forth between our borders, this is something that is creating unrest for us at the same time. So there's a geopolitical agenda also happening on the ground. So with of course, when Jaishankar speaks, he's speaking on that as well, saying that India is also quite concerned with the nature of developments that's happening across the border. So it's not, it's going to be quite difficult because all these issues have to be taken care of together.
How does that come about? I mean, you've got these various factors at play. What's the first one that you go and look at?
Well, the
It
first
has
one is
have
to
a chain
restore law
effect.
and order. First one is to restore law and order. Second one is to seal the border. Right now, it's a very porous border. We have no other options but actually to go
The
ahead and seal.
topography, the geography, how
Exactly.
do you seal that border?
Of course, we have been doing that with Bangladesh. It's been a very porous border, but we've been fencing certain parts of the border. We have been manning it. So you have only one option, but to seal the border until we bring peace into Manipur. There's no other option that has been left. So once we bring peace into Manipur, then we would be able to speak about how whether these tribals and non-tribals can sit and speak about what can be done further. And the aggravating irritants, as we call, between the communities need to be removed. The cookies, of course, will be demanding from separate administration, with some in among them asking for a separate statehood. Well, that is also going to be a very contentious issue because
Certainly,
because
it's
Manipur
problematic for
is good.
the union of this, for the union of India.
Integrity, for the integrity of Manipur as well. Many of them have been saying the integrity of Manipur shouldn't be stopped because Manipur is a multi-ethnic society, and that character of that multi-ethnic society in Manipur comes from the cookies being there. Or the Nagas being there. See, the Nagas could have easily said that these areas could have been merged with Nagaland. It did not happen that way. So the Nagas in Manipur have a different, I won't say completely different history and culture,
I mean,
but they
I
have their own.
categorically believe that if the cookies do get the separate administration, you've got the Tipra Motha party in Tripura that's been demanding the same for the longest time. They're going to be like, hey boss, now what about us?
The separate, see, the thing is, there are provisions and there are separate administration councils that are there within Manipur, and therefore these provisions can be used to a large extent to ensure that this is in place. But let us in fact see how it works out, because otherwise it's going to be a very tough situation right now for anyone, because it's got, as I said, it's a blend of ethnic clashes, it's a blend of geopolitical issues, it's a blend of narcotics to an extent, it's a blend of militant issues as well. So you have to, it's like a lot of knots, and you have to remove one knot after the other. And you need to break the biggest knot, of course, being the ethnic conflict in that state, which needs to be addressed with law, trying to bring law and order to that state as fast as possible.
Well, I remember reading on an international website, I think it was The Guardian, back in May, voices from the tribal groups in Manipur, trying to understand how the West is viewing our problem back at home. And separate administration seems to be the only answer. These kind of headlines were thrown about in the West. Now, 70 days later, there's still no solution, at least to the violence.
To say what the non-tribals have to say. It's going to be a long and it's going to be a very difficult road ahead. And as of now, the only primary issue is to ensure that the weapons are out and there's some kind of peace that is restored as fast as possible. And only after that will we be able to do something on this, because it is about the peace factor that we have to look into, because without peace nothing can be achieved, and therefore the law and order situation on the ground is something that we, especially the killing of the Naga woman has only raised the stake, but there have been 3 trucks also that was recently burned. So all this is only going to create more trouble as of now as we speak. And then you have the coupled with the issues about ultra sneaking in from the neighboring country as well.
Well, I mean, I'm losing fingers to keep account of the socio-economic fault lines in Manipur. Of course, the situation is more than tense right now. The integrity of the entire state is, under question right now. 70 days on, no solution. What's going to happen next? We'll still have to wait in from a word from, the state government or the central government in terms of the latest killings that have taken place and what kind of exemplary punishment do these culprits get. We're learning some 9 people have been apprehended in this fresh round of violence. Our focus remains on Manipur at 12 p.m. again today, bringing you the voices from both the sides and some political analysts and some military experts as well to talk specifically on what's happening in Manipur. Where is that particular road headed?